Yo, it's your boy Ringo TV Reactions. Back at you again with another one. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. What I want to talk about is the situation with Nia Long. Nia Long have a video that pretty much resurfaced where she talked about how she dated a 30-year-old while in high school with her mother's consent. And, you know, we got to talk about it because in the time that we live in now, if you're a man, you're called a pedophile, you're called all of these different names. Everybody want to shame you and throw you under the bus and drag you. And on this particular interview, she was featured on some sort of interview, and she so candidly explained this. And it's interesting to me how everybody was just kind of laughing and giggling, and everything was cool. And what I noticed is that when women talk about these things publicly, nobody really have anything to say about it in terms of like a negative way. Nobody really have anything negative to say. It's like it's okay, you know. But if a grown man in today's day pull up and he talks about this publicly and say, yeah, you know, as a grown man, yeah, I used to date 15-year-olds. Yeah, when I was 42. And you don't see that in the public. You don't see men doing that because they'll be dragged. But what I'm trying to show you is that back in the day, all of these women were dating guys that were older. This is why I laugh when I see women in today's day that are in their 40s and 50s, you know, like in their late 40s, mid 50s, and they trying to be ultra righteous and acting like they got all these morals and values. A lot of these women were getting smashed and dashed, you know, at the ages of 13, 14, 15, 16. We're talking about young teenage girls, young women that were dating men in their 30s and 40s. This was common practice back in the day. And they don't want to admit it in 2025. They want to act like, well, you know, nah, that's not right. And you should see them on social media. So I want you to take a look at this tape, and I want you to tell me, what do you think about this situation?
I wasn't the girl that ever went to prom. Like, my boyfriend was 30 when I was in high school. I know my mother was crazy, but you know what? I would never ever let I mean that in a good way. Like, she was an artist. She was like, well, if that's who you love, baby. And he was so good to me and kind and like, you right? And he did it the right way.
I'm trying to figure out exactly how he did it the right way when Nia Long is not married today. She's been through a plethora of men, had kids out of wedlock. She's literally in her 50s and she's alone. And this is because of her decisions of what she did back in the day when she was a teenager dating these particular men. And this is the problem in today's day. When you try to address these issues and you try to talk to women about these problems, they never take accountability for this, guys. They never do. They'll just label you a woman basher. You're misogynistic. They'll label you all of these things. But if we were to take a trip down memory lane, the majority of women that are in their late 40s, mid 50s, all were dating older men back in the day. They got impregnated by older men. They had their cherry popped by an older man. They weren't dating young boys their age. Because once they got piped down by an older brother, they got used to the pipe of an older man. They did not want to deal with no young teenage guy their age. And these are facts that none of these ladies could deny. And that's why when you look at them today, their lives is screwed up. You're trying to figure out like why they all single, why they got these kids out of wedlock, why there's all this baby daddy drama. It's because they were getting ran through when they were in their teenage years by older men that were breaking them in, and their mama approved of everything because the mama did the same thing when she was younger. What I'm telling you is in 2025, a lot of times when we hear these kind of stories, everybody want to act like they got morals and values, acting as if though they done everything right. I'm telling you facts. Back in the day, 99% of all women were dating older men. And y'all can lie. Y'all can act like it wasn't you. You are a liar. We all saw you get out of the car. We all saw you get picked up at high school, junior high school. You understand? We seen you. Now, I mean, let's look at some receipts. This is something from the Post where I got the clip from. As you can see, somebody at the top, Dominique, says, sadly, this was a fad in the 90s. We all knew teens that dated grown men. You see that? And her comment got 592 likes. I'm not making this up. This is a fact. You understand? The other person who comment, Eagle, they don't know nothing. They're not with the times. I'm not even gonna waste my time reading their comments. Earl says, y'all really have no idea what the world was like before social media, the Wild West. Do you see what I'm saying? These are facts that I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Somebody else came in and says the open secret in a lot of black and brown communities. Everyone remember the super fine girls in both middle school and high school being driven off by some dude that they were clearly too old to be with. This was common practice back in the days, guys. And as you can see by some of those comments, it's very apparent that those folks are within the age group of the people that lived in that time to know the facts. And this is why Nia Long is not married. This is why she having relationship issues. This is why. See, a lot of you brothers will look at this woman and be like, man, she's fine. She always been beautiful. No, she was destroyed from way back in the day. And this is typical of what happened to a lot of women, guys. This is why she rejects marriage. Because in this particular post here, Nia Long states that marriage is not her priority. I have never seen a marriage work. Why? Because her mama failed. Her grandma failed. And she failed. And being that she's in her 50s, why would she have marriage as a priority? It is never going to happen because she destroyed her life when she was younger, which is something a lot of young ladies have done. They never settled down with Mr. Right. They settled down for Mr. Wrong. And Mr. Wrong normally ran through her, got her pregnant, caused a drama, destroyed her life. And now she's mad at the world because she made all the wrong mistakes. And this is the case with Nia Long. That's why she made this post talking about marriage is not her priority. You know what I mean? She's not focused on marriage. She said, I never seen a marriage work. Well, why? Because she's out of touch with reality. Because she have nothing but family members that had nothing but failure. She never seen success. She never seen a successful marriage. I mean, her own mama approved of her dating a 30-year-old when she was 15, which mean at the age of 15, some guy in his 30s was most likely laying pipe on her at 15. And her mama had no problem because for all you know, that's how they were keeping the lights on. She probably let this dude get in with her daughter because that was how they were able to eat. This was common practice back in the days, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let none of these ladies fool you. Don't let none of these ladies act as if though they don't know what's going on. Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of us brothers that was coming up in that time, it was very difficult for us to date the sisters back then because all the sisters was getting piped down by dudes in their 30s and 40s. This is a fact. You try to talk to a sister your age, bro, she was already getting piped down. She was getting piped down by grown men, fam. This is a fact. No cap. All the brothers know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? It was just a few sisters you might be able to holler at. But the majority of them, fam, they were getting ran through, bro. They were getting ran through like never before, fam. You would look at these sisters, they be your age, but you would look at them and be like, damn, she look like she done had a train on her, bro. Like, what the hell happened to her? She used to be this nice young girl in junior high school. And you looking at her and you seeing her jumping all these fancy cars. And you know what I mean? I used to see all the sisters jump into the big body Lexus and the Cressida and the Maxima and everything. And I used to be like, damn, all these other brothers, they able to bag all these shorties. And when we really thought about it, all of these guys was in their 30s and 40s. You know what I mean? That's who the sisters was going after. Don't let none of them fool you. When you see these women on social media acting like they speaking up and they trying to call out men and calling men pedophiles, a lot of those women destroyed their lives. That's why they're bitter. A lot of these women you see on social media where they're like, they have this anti-man spirit, it's because they're bitter. They destroyed their lives when they were younger. And now that they're older, they want to act like they got morals and values. Where were those morals and values when you were a teenager? You wanted an older man to pipe you down. You wanted an older man to drive you around because you looked at us younger brothers and thought that we were lame. You thought that we were broke. You thought we was a joke. And so what you do? You went and you got with the older brothers because they were able to bring you into the parties, bring you into the clubs. They were able to take you shopping. You know what I mean? The young sisters was traveling, bro, in the 90s. They were getting traveled around, bro. Dudes used to fly them around, drive them around, spend all sorts of money. So by the time we trying to holler at these sisters, we look like jokes to them. You know what I mean? They'll ask us, where's your car? Where's this? Where's that? I remember these type of stories, fam. And a lot of the OGs had to put me on. And they was like, yo, dog, you don't want to mess with that sister, bro. Everybody done piped her down, bro. I'm like, who, her? They was like, yeah, man, she no good. She no good. So when you see a lot of these women today that are in their 50s, you know, their late 40s and 50s, look, between the age of 45 up to about 57, a lot of those women were dating older men when they were younger. Do not be fooled. All of them, not some of them, all of them were dating older men. So they're in no position to talk about who's a pedophile, who's a this and who's a that and all this other stuff. These women been out here getting piped down by a lot of older cats, bro. Again, listen to what Nia Long said, guys. Listen to what she said and you be the judge.
I wasn't the girl that ever went to prom. Like, my boyfriend was 30 when I was in high school. I know my mother was crazy, but you know what? I would never ever let I mean that in a good way. Like, she was an artist. She was like, well, if that's who you love, baby. And he was so good to me and kind. And
he was so good to me. He was so kind. What exactly was he good to you and doing? He ain't marry you. He never married you. So what exactly was he doing good for you? He was piping you down. And notice how everybody's laughing at this. Everything is good. This is why I laugh when women try to act like they got this moral compass, like they're this queen, this righteous woman that done everything right and been saving themselves for marriage. What you're hearing here, guys, from Nia Long is a blueprint of what a lot of women did back in the day, bro. You understand? They made the choices and their mothers approved it, gave them the stamp of approval. And in some instances, if I can get really technical, guys, some men back in the day in the 90s was dating both the daughter and the mother. No cap. Back in the day, guys, you had dudes. When we were teenagers coming up, you had dudes that was smashing the daughter and the mama. You understand what I'm saying? The mama approved of the dude messing with her daughter, even though he was messing with the mama. This was going on, fam.
You're right. And he did it the right way.
How he did it the right way? He never married you and he was piping you down. How could he have did it the right way? What do you mean the right way? And why is this being aired and this was okay? Because again, when women are doing these things, it's perfectly fine, bro. It's perfectly normal. But now let R. Kelly come up on that stage and say, yeah, I was messing around with Aaliyah. Everybody ready to crucify him. But how come y'all not ready to crucify Nia Long? See, you're not going to crucify her. You're not going to say a word because it's okay for women to do it. But if a man is doing that, he's the pedophile. But it's okay for her to say these things on a national stage and everybody's laughing because why? Everybody knows this is normalized. This is completely yes, it's definitely a double standard. It is definitely a double standard, and it is something that we got to have the conversation about. Because again, she ain't say this thing as if though, the guy was wrong. She said this thing as if though everything is good, which proved that back then, this was normal. Nobody complained. That's why when I look at all you folks that crucified R. Kelly, right, I'm looking at all you guys and I'm kind of like, it's sad because a lot of you folks are hypocrites. I'm just being honest with you. A lot of you guys, especially you brothers that are older than me, I'm 47. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of you cats that are in your 50s, you were doing the very same thing that R. Kelly was doing. You're just not going to ever come into the public and say the truth because a lot of you guys are hiding behind platforms. You're hiding behind your image and you don't want nobody to know the truth that you are out here messing around with all the teenage girls. You want to act like this wasn't so, especially out in New York. Dudes used to pull up on these sisters at high school, junior high school, and drive them away. Dudes used to go to Coney Island. Dudes used to take these women to here and there and then bring them back home, and their parents didn't say nothing about it. It was that normalized. All of the sisters back in the days dated older brothers. This is a fact.
I wasn't the girl that ever went to prom.
She wasn't the girl that ever went to prom, which means she was on her grown woman vibes. While all the other young girls were out there going to prom and doing this, she wasn't with none of that dumb stuff, all that garbage. She was out here dating grown men.
Like my boyfriend was 30.
Think about how she said it like that. She said it as if though, look, I've always dated older men. You think that's the only guy that she dated, guys? Of course not. This was normal practice. Listen, once a young teenage girl get piped down by a grown man, she ain't going back to no other young boy, bro. I'm just telling you straight. Once a young teenage girl get piped down with heavy meat from some grown man, she's not going back to the teenage boys in the projects, bro. She's only focused on grown men. That's it. That's all she's interested in.
When I was in high school. I know my mother was crazy, but you know what?
And then she said her mom was crazy. In other words, my mom did this. In other words, she's blaming her mom. No, it's not your mom. You made a choice because I'm telling you, back in the day, like I said, all of the young girls, guys, all of the teenage girls that were our age coming up were messing with grown men. All of them, not some. All of them. They were all doing it. They were all jumping in and out of the cars. They were in the MPVs. They were in the Maxima, the Cressida, the Lexus, the BMWs, and they were coming in and out. And you would see all these girls. All a dude had to do back in the day is had a nice car. All he had to do is just pull up on the side of a shorty and beep, beep, beep. Once he beep, he'll just roll down the window and be like, hey, come here now. And the girl would come in and jump into the car. And he would bag her, take her somewhere, bang her down, bust her open. And next minute you hear Charlene is pregnant. Or next minute you hear is Marlena is pregnant. You're wondering what the hell going on. Well, it was all the grown men in the community that was banging these chicks, bro. And then once they got banged out, they had a predisposition for that kind of man. And now she developed a so-called preference for a particular guy. And now she's dating nothing but older men. If you do a study on Nia Long's dating history in the industry, she dated a lot of these men. And notice, nothing worked for her. Now you would think, how could a woman who was in her prime looking so fine, you know what I'm saying, looking real good, how is it that a Nia Long never settled down, never really settled down? How could that happen? Because she got piped down by all the wrong men. And this is something that women in today's culture never take accountability for, bro. Never. They never do. They just blame the man. They just blame their circumstances. They just blame their surroundings. People always making up damn excuses for their own choices. You know what I mean? But yet, us men, when it comes to our failure, we can't do that. But for women, they could blame everybody. They could blame the man. They could say, oh, he took advantage of me. I was young. I was this. So what was your mama? Your mama said it was cool. So are you going to tell me the guy took advantage of you, but your mama didn't? Come on, man. This was normalized. Women did not like guys their age. If I'm 15 and another girl is 15, it was very difficult to even holler at a chick your age. It's only once in a blue moon under those circumstances you may get through and talk to a particular sister your age. You know what I mean? But for the most part, all the women your age were getting piped down by guys twice their age. You know what I mean? Remember that song that said something along the lines of, I'm in love with a man nearly twice my age. Don't know what it is. You remember that song? Put a 1 in the chat if you remember that song. Y'all remember that song? Come on now. Now, why would the person be singing that they're in love with a man nearly twice my age? Because that's what was going down. That's what was going down, fam. Remember the song? Gal flex, time to have sex, long time you have the rude boy a sport. Come on now. All of these particular songs were designed to get the young women to flex. Why? Because they would be talking about, oh, I'm a virgin and you know what I mean? I don't really want to do nothing right now. I'm going to save myself for marriage. So all these songs were designed to loosen them up, to get them on the dance floor, to get them ready. And I could go on and on and on with different songs that would focus on these particular issues, guys. You know what I mean? This was normal practice. And this is why Nia Long could not ever settle down. This is why she despised marriage by saying, I have never seen a marriage work. But yet, look at all the men that ran through her. And she's wondering why she never seen a marriage work. She's wondering why. You know what I mean? When are women going to take personal accountability for the actions that they put out there in the universe? You know what I mean? Because this clip speaks volumes of an underlying issue in the community that women don't want to address. They don't want to address the fact that they've been out in these streets being loose. They don't want to admit that they've been around the block and that they made choices. You know what I mean? And their mothers been misguiding them the whole time because their mothers weren't married. Their mothers was in the streets, right? And their mothers taught their daughters how to be in the streets just like them. So it's not a surprise why she was dating all these Hollywood actors and athletes and different people. Go look up and type into Google Nia Long's dating history and look at all the different men she dated. Look at all the different outcomes of failure, no success. And you have to think about this. How could an attractive black woman like this never settle down? What went wrong? She got spirits on her. She got demons on her, man. Demons that prevent her from actually doing what she need to do. You know? It's crazy, dog. I'm telling you, back in the day, if you weren't getting no paper, if you weren't dressing fly, if you ain't have a car, you weren't picking up no chicks, bro. You weren't. Because the older brothers was outdoing you. By the pure fact he had a hoopty. Listen, you can have a hoopty and you were picking up chicks. They didn't care if your car was run down. If you had a damn hoopty, a sister was proud to be in your car. You know what I mean? As long as you had it clean and it smelled good and you had those air freshener things that you put on the rear view mirror, fam, a chick would rock with you regardless, bro. It didn't care if you had a hoopty. You know what I mean? But if you ain't have no wheels, no gear, no fly kicks, You weren't doing nothing, bro. You're just good as done. Unless you had the gift of gab and you able to pull shorties, it wasn't happening. But the point of the content is to make you understand that there's a double standard in the world, fam, where women get a pass for doing what they do. I mean, think about it. Right now, in these schools, you got teachers that are getting arrested, serving 30 years in prison for messing with boys in their schools. Think about that, guys. It's still going on. It's just that it's under the radar. And a lot of women are now messing with the young guys now. You know what I mean? And these are older women who, in most cases, aren't able to settle down. So what they do is they get the young guys while they're in school and whatnot. You just had another teacher recently that got arrested and charged for she forced one of her male students to massage her feet. And they basically charged her with that. You had another woman, I believe she's either white or Asian or whatever the case is. She got 30 years for having a relationship with one of her students. And you know, a lot of us guys, we're probably like, damn, where were these women when we were in school? You know what I mean? And you wondering why we say that. You wondering why us men in today's day that are in our mid 40s or mid 50s would say stuff like, where were these women back in the day that were teachers that wanted to get with us young brothers? The reason why we say that is because when we were that age, the chicks that were our age didn't want to rock with us. It was difficult to get these shorties. So it's like, damn, where were these teachers back in the days? I could have used them back in the day. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. I mean, I'm not saying all of us brothers wasn't able to bag shorties. What I'm saying is it was a different time. And most of the women were actually out there dealing with older men. That's what they were into. They weren't into young men at all.
I wasn't the girl that ever went to prom. Like, my boyfriend was 30 when I was in high school. I know my mother was crazy, but you know what? I would never ever let I mean that in a good way. Like, she was an artist. She was like, well, if that's who you love, baby. And he was so good to me.
If that's who you love, baby. That's what her mom told her. If that's who you love, baby. So the mom really thought that her daughter understood what love is. Okay, whatever you say.
I didn't like. You're right. And he did it the right way. I wasn't the girl that ever.
He did it the right way, but he was piping her down, right? He never married her, right? Because here's the thing: if the mother consented to all of this, how come the man didn't, marry her, right? And here's another thing: where was her father? Where was her father? Father wasn't around, and that's my point. You see, and a lot of you probably was like, "Wow, so this is what Nia Long been doing." Yeah, and this is what a lot of women do. They just don't tell you guys. That's why I laugh when they come on social media and they try to act like, you know what I mean? Like they got all these morals and values and all this other junk. They're not going to tell you about their past, dog. And this is why if you're a woman, don't be a damn hypocrite. If you know you was in them streets, if you know you was doing dirt, then, hey, be real. Don't be fake. Don't be out here acting like you holier than thou and trying to judge everybody, and you've been out in these damn streets doing dirt. You know what I mean? I try to give people the real information on what's going on in these streets because it's a lot of double standards out here where men get crucified and women get passes, you know? How come nobody's dragging her mom? How come nobody's dragging her? How come nobody's dragging Nia Long saying, how you gonna say this knowing that you're helping to encourage other young ladies to get with older men, but yet if an older guy said that, yeah, I'm out here at the high schools waiting for I'm at the middle schools waiting for these young girls so I can bring them, into my car, he'll be crucified. You know what I mean? Again, these are some comments in case you're joining the show and you ain't catch this. These are some people that was under the post. You have one woman who said, sadly, this was a fad in the 90s. We all knew teens that dated grown men. And that's the fact. You know what I mean? And I can guarantee you that very same one that made that comment was dating grown men too. Because it takes one to know one, guys. You know what I'm saying? If it's a woman saying this, she was with one of them older guys. Trust me. I'm telling you facts. Right? Earl said, y'all really have no idea what the world was like before social media, the Wild West. Listen, teenage chicks was getting their backs blown out left and right. In the back seats of a car, at the park, on the rooftop, in the stairwell, they were getting their backs blown out. You know what I mean? By grown men. Seriously. You know what I'm saying? All sorts of stuff used to go down, bro. No cap. Let me see. Somebody else says the open secret is a lot of black and brown communities. Everyone remember the super fine girls. Notice what this person said, y'all. I need y'all to peep this because this will give you an understanding of how men was back then. Now listen, the open secret in a lot of black and brown communities, everyone remembers the super fine girls in both middle school and high school. Notice what this guy said. The super fine girls in both middle school and high school being driven off by some dude that they were clearly too old to be with. You see that? And this was every day back in the days, bro. Every day. I seen this with my own eyes. You know what I mean? I'm talking about when I'm like damn near 15, 16, I can recall chicks my age getting picked up by brothers in BMWs, Lexus, Cressida, Maxima. You know what I mean? A tricked out Mustang, a tricked out MPV with a massive sound system. And these dudes were pulling all the women. All of the young girls were getting pulled. Like, damn, they ain't nothing for us, dog. In order for us to go bag shorties, bro, we had to go out of town, bro. We had to literally travel around, get out of the damn area and try to go where, you know, you have more chance of, you know, bagging a shorty. You know what I mean? So if you in Brooklyn, you in New York, we travel out to Coney Island because, you know, them chicks would get picked up at the high schools. When y'all hear these rumors of certain rappers and artists that used to wait around by the high schools for the shorties to come out, this is a fact. You know what I mean? Dudes used to be by the high schools parked, waiting for chicks to come out. Matter of fact, dudes used to pick up chicks at the Catholic school, bro. I'm giving you facts. These are real facts, bro. Facts on facts. The Catholic school. Why? Because the Catholic school girls used to wear those skirts. Any of y'all know about that? Y'all know what I'm talking about. The Catholic school girls used to wear those skirts, and dudes used to pull up in their car by the Catholic school, and they would just wait. And when they see shorty walking by, they would beep their horns. You know what I mean? Them private school girls or with the Catholic school skirts, and they were, listen, the guys used to be there thirsty, hungry, because all the young ladies were fresh and ripe. We're talking about fresh young ladies with no history, no drama. And this was the 90s. You know what I mean? Facts. And nobody could deny it. So when I see people that are in their late 40s, mid 50s, acting like they holy and thou, acting like they perfect, especially if it's a woman, and she out here talking about, yeah, these guys are disgusting, trying to date these young women. You need to sit your ass down and shut up, because you were out there throwing your box around town when you were that age too. So I don't want to hear nothing from you old heads out here acting as if though you don't got no dirt on your name. Because if we go find the tapes with you, if we go bring your file up, you have a long rap sheet of being in these damn streets, throwing box, topping off different dudes in cars, going to the telly, getting smashed and dashed. And that is how you got all those kids that you got right now. Because you got pregnant when you was a teenager multiple times. You got pregnant when you was 15, had another baby at 16, another baby at 17, and then another baby at 18. And then you chilled out and had another baby at 25 and possibly more. And this is the truth that they don't want to hear, bro. So we need personal accountability in the community. We need women to take accountability and stop trying to act like they perfect and start telling these young ladies the truth. And be like, look, I did all the dirt that you're doing now and more. And I ain't perfect. I made a lot of bad mistakes. And try to school her in the right direction rather than throwing all the blame on a man by making it seem like these men are just dogs when your ass is out here trying to be Miss Hot Tamale, throwing pics on the gram, showing your ass cheeks and showing your breasts and showing your feet. You ever go on Instagram and see women just scantily clad, throwing themselves all out there, posing all over the place, posing here and doing this? And it's like, damn, you just want a guy to smash? You just want a guy to pump you up with seeds? Like, what are you doing? All you're doing is advertising yourself. All you're doing is enticing men. That's all you're doing. And then you want to blame the man? You want to blame the man for being thirsty when you thirst trapping all damn day? Is that the best you could do? You don't got no education? All you can do is show your body all day? That's as far as your value go? You don't got no dignity? You don't got no honor? Where was your daddy? That's the real question. You know? See, I see a comment there that says we need adults to stop chasing minors. See, here's the problem with your comment, right? The problem with your comment is that you're not paying attention. You're not paying attention. This is not a thing of we need adults to stop chasing minors as if though your record is clean. Because I can guarantee you your record is not. Your record is not clean. But you saying things that sound morally correct. But when you think about it, men in today's day always talk to younger women. Look at all these guys that are in their 50s. Are they talking to women that are in their 50s? No, they're talking to younger women. You understand? They're looking at that 20-year-old, 30-year-old. That's who they're looking for. They don't want no woman their age. So men are normally wired to talk to younger women. So when you understand the pattern of life, when you understand exactly what's going on based on biology, men naturally gravitate towards younger women. Do you understand? So there's a reason why these younger women are gravitating towards these older men. It's just that you don't understand what's going on because you're not paying attention to what the teaching is really about here. You know, I'm trying to show you that in society, they have programmed us to be like, well, look at what this person is doing. Look what that person is doing. I mean, y'all done crucified R. Kelly, right? But y'all don't crucify nobody else. Y'all crucified R. Kelly, but y'all don't crucify nobody else because it's like with men, they get punished. With women, they get passes. Think about how many women talk about their past. Oh, when I was young, I used to date all these 40-year-old men and I used to throw it back and man, I had a good time when I was younger. And they talk about all their stories of dating older men and getting piped down. Nobody called them out. It's perfectly normal. But the man, oh, if a man say, yeah, when I was younger, you know what I'm saying? When I was in my 30s, oh yeah, man, I used to mess with the 15 and 16-year-olds, man. I used to pipe them down. I used to do this. He get crucified. He get crucified automatically. Automatically, man. And again, it's because the way society is set up. Society is set up for the man to be judged, but not the woman. The woman will always be looked upon as if though she's a victim. And even in this post, women were saying that, oh, Nia Long she was a victim and, you know, she was being taken advantage of. No, she was taking pipe. She made a decision and her mom agreed with her decision. The problem is people not paying attention.
Went to prom. Like my boyfriend was 30.
Wow.
I wasn't the girl that ever went to prom. Like my boyfriend was 30 when I was in high school.
She said that so proud. In other words, when a woman says, my boyfriend was 30, right, when I was in high school, what she's saying is, I was with a real man. In other words, when I was getting penetrated, I was getting smashed by a real man. I wasn't with no boy. You know what I mean? I was with a man. That's what she's saying. She said that proudly.
I wasn't the girl that ever went to prom. Like my boyfriend was 30.
You see that? That back in the day meant everything to a young lady. Not, oh, my man had money, or my man had a car, or my man got status. No, my man is 30. That meant a lot to women back in the day. Not, oh, my man is 16, my man is 15, my man is 17. No, my man is 35, my man is 45. That was gold to them back in the day.
When I was in high school. I know my mother was crazy, but you know what? I would never ever let I mean that in a good way. Like she was an artist. She was like, well, if that's who you love, baby. And he was so good to me and kind and like, right? And he did it the right way. I wasn't the girl that ever went to prom. Like my boyfriend was 30 when I was in high school. I know my mother was crazy, but you know what?
Let me just pack up this dumbass named Random. He's just a random asshole, man. I cannot stand dumbass people, bro, that come to the comments, man. Like, seriously, man. I gotta pack you up, man. I don't got time for damn near fools that come to a live show and it's like they're not paying attention and too dumb to understand like basic stuff. Like you could be as clear as possible and some people are just stupid, bro. Like they don't have no sense whatsoever, bro. Let's get back to the tapes.
I would never ever let I mean that in a good way. Like she was an artist. She was like, well, if that's who you love, baby. And he was so good to me and kind and like.
And you wondering why 99% of these women today are single and will remain single and unmarried for the rest of their natural life. You wondering why? You're wondering why. It is because we as a people don't know our culture. We don't have no standards and we don't know nothing. We don't know nothing. Do you know in the days of the Messiah, women were married off at a young age? You know that? They were. Common practice. And they weren't married off to a young kid their age. See, these are those type of topics that when you talk about these topics, people call you all sorts of pedophiles. They call you all sorts of names. And at this point, I really don't give a fuck what you got to say. Because the truth is the truth. If you go back to Mary and Joseph in the Bible, how old you think Mary was when she was with Joseph? You think Joseph was a young boy? Joseph was older than her. Joseph was like twice her age. Joseph was not a teenager. You understand? But Mary was. Mary was a young lady, very young. You see what I'm saying? And in those days, that is how women connected with a man. A man listen, if a man is 13, a young boy, young man, 13 years old, he don't got no damn job providing. He don't got nothing. He's not established. You understand that? Women want men that are established. That is why Nia Long said when she was in high school, she was dating a 30-year-old. They did not want a dude their age. Why? Because you don't got nothing going on. And that's the normal. Listen, that is how the natural order is in terms of how she was attracted to older men because of status, the fact that these guys were put together, you know what I mean? And she found them to be more attractive. But see, what do we do in today's day? Let me show you the hypocrisy. You guys, right, would be more okay if Nia Long was 15 and was getting fucked by a 15-year-old boy. You would have no problem with that, right? And that's the truth. You would have no problem with that. But guess what? You still got a problem with that. It's just that you're being a hypocrite because why? You know that she was with an older guy. So in your mind, you're saying, well, adults not supposed to be with minors. Okay, so then what you're telling me is this, that if you're a father, you don't got a problem if your 15-year-old daughter is getting fucked from the back by another 15 or 16-year-old. Are you telling me you cool with that too? Yes or no? Are you cool with that as a father? Are you cool with your 15-year-old daughter giving head to a 16-year-old? You're cool with that? Or is that a problem too? See, which one is it? You can't have it both ways. You can't tell me that you're cool with your daughter getting smashed by a 16-year-old, right? And then tell me if she was dating that 30-year-old, he's a pedophile and it's wrong. And I'm just sick of all of this stuff. But you're okay in condoning the fact that your daughter is not married, right? She's with a guy her age and they're all running trains on your daughter getting her pregnant. So you're telling me that's cool too? Which one is it? You got to make up your mind, man. I'm dealing with facts here. Is it okay as a parent in today's day that if your daughter want to F around with a male, that it's okay as long as the young man is her age, it's okay for him to pipe down your daughter? Are you telling me you're okay with that? You know? This is serious business. And to the brother that says, thank God I have a son, let me explain something to you, because I see a lot of guys that do stuff like that and they make it seem like having daughters is some sort of problem, right? You can have a son and your son end up turning gay. You can have a son and your son end up on child support. You can have a son and he end up getting venereal diseases from these women that are in these streets. So it's never good to say, thank God I have sons, as if though having daughters is a problem and having sons is okay. Because your son can get into a jam too. You know what I mean? Don't get so high-minded that you feel, oh, thank God I have a son. You may get nothing but daughters next. And then you end up getting judged by your words. You got to be very mindful of that. You know what I mean? You got to always be mindful. Think of all the men today that are struggling with child support. Think of all the men today that their son turned up gay, like Magic Johnson's son, like T.D. Jake's son, like all these different pastors' sons that are out here wearing dresses. Just like, what's this other guy that's, what's that other basketball player and his son want to be a girl now? Think about that mess. See, these are the kind of things you got to think about when you got a son. Because that's the worst thing, to be a father who's a masculine man and then your son want to wear a dress. You know what I mean? That's a serious problem. To see that your son that you raised as a son, now all of a sudden he want to wear a dress. Or he's out here struggling to find a wife because you're thanking God that you got sons, but think about the climate of the world we live in, where it's very difficult for a man to settle down with a quality woman. Think about the pick of the litter of women that are out here. How is your son going to be able to settle down and build a family if all of these women are running these streets? How is he going to settle down? How is he going to find a wife, a woman who is wife material, if all they want to do is be on the gram shaking their ass? So it's nothing to be thanking God for. It's what we're supposed to be focusing on is getting the knowledge and understanding the both sides. It takes two to tango. You know what I mean? What we trying to focus on here is the fact that these women are getting their back blown out by men, which means if you have a son, your son is going to eventually fuck some woman out there that might be underage or might be of age. Doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? So it's not something to be thanking God for. It is something to be knowledgeable about and understand the ins and the outs of all these different problems so that we can figure out what's the best solution. You know what I mean? Because what I'm trying to make everybody understand is that back in the day, this was normal. You know what I mean? I'm not here to point out this and point out that and say, oh, this, or no, I'm not here for none of that. That's why I just told you in the Bible, when Joseph got with Mary, Mary was pretty much in the situation that Nia Long is in right now. And nobody was telling everybody, yo, Joseph is a pedophile. Joseph was a grown man. Joseph was not a little boy. Joseph was a grown man. Do you understand me? And Mary was what you would consider a teenage girl, probably like 13 years old. Nobody said Joseph was a pedophile. Do you understand that? There's a reason why ladies back in the day gravitated towards older men. There's a reason. There's a reason why. Just like today, older men are only attracted to younger women. Show me a 40-year-old man that want to go find and wife up a 50-year-old woman. It's not happening. Men date down in terms of age. They don't look for no woman their age. And if she look good, he might get with her to smash, but he ain't getting with her to make her no damn wife. And this is where a lot of ladies get it twisted, because they feel like, well, I could get men, I could attract men, yes, to sleep with you, but not to marry you. You know what I mean? And this is something I try to teach women all the time. Just because you're able to attract men does not mean they want to marry you. They just want to screw you. Do you understand the difference? You know, if you look good, a lot of guys would want to hit it. And the only reason why they pull up on you is because they want to smash, bro. That's it. You know? Let me go back at the tape.
I wasn't the girl that ever went to prom. Like, my boyfriend was 30 when I was in high school. I know my mother was crazy, but you know what? He was...
The reason why she said that is because she know the majority of women in the audience did the same thing, man. Can't y'all understand this? Everybody did this. This is normal. Listen, are y'all ready for this? Put a 1 in the chat if you're ready for this truth. I'm going to tell you why the women like Nia Long and various other women her age is single and remain single for the rest of their natural life. You know why? Because, again, men date down. There are no men today for Nia Long. There are none. The only man that she could get with right now that would take her serious is a man who is in his 70s and 80s. That's the only guy. Because to a 70 and 80-year-old man, she's a young hot tamale. She's a young tenderoni. Do you understand that? There are no men available for Nia Long right now, because all the men her age is no different than the guys when she was a teenager. In her mind, she don't see them. In her mind, she don't see them at all. And the younger ones that she would want to get with, they don't even want to hit it. A younger dude will only smash her, impregnate her. Well, she ain't getting pregnant now. She most likely menopaused out. But my point is, if any younger dude get with her, it's just a fantasy at this point. He ain't getting with her because he trying to build a family. You know what I mean? And this is why a lot of older women get mad at me and think that I'm hating women. I'm telling you right now, if you're a woman and you up there in your age, right, don't get mad at me. I'm telling you the truth. Your days are over when it comes to dating. You had your time. You had your day. You were in your prime. You wasted your youth. You wasted your life. And now you're older and your market value is not there no more. You can't negotiate no more. And if you got with a man, it's going to be strictly sexual. Are you going to deal with it? Are you going to deal with it? Because he ain't marrying you. So you could either just get with a man, have him as a companionship, and just keep him pushing. But all that talks about, well, I'm saving myself for marriage. Woman, you in your 50s. Stop it. Like, seriously, I see some of you ladies, y'all be doing some weirdo stuff. And I'm like, look, you're in your 50s. Stop it. Stop thinking you're 20. You're not. The competition is heavy out here. You know what I mean? No dude in his right mind that got his whole life together is trying to chase you down in your 50s to make you some damn wife. When you got women in their 20s and 30s that he could get with. He's not thinking about you. He'll screw you. If you look good enough, to pump, oh yeah, a man will definitely lay pipe on your back. But at the end of the day, he's not marrying you. Can you live with it? Because a real woman that know her season and know what time it is, she already accepted her fate because she already know what it is. She ain't gonna be out here trying to press a man to marry her because she already know she's up in her 50s. She ain't gonna try to pressure no man. She's just happy the fact she got a companion in her life. And that's where a lot of you ladies mess up, because rather than you be comfortable with the fact that you got a man in your life, you know what I'm saying, that's laying pipe on your back, instead, you want to be all Christian and act like, well, you know, I need him to marry me. Nobody marrying you at 55. Get out of here. You bugging, bro. Just chill with a man and do what you gotta do. Cause some of you ladies already doing it. Some of you ladies been listening to my videos and you got yourself your little boo, you know what I mean, that's in your life, and it is what it is. Be happy. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of women your age are miserable, lonely, and they're mad at the world because they miss their opportunities. You know what I mean? They miss their opportunity. Imagine a fine woman like Nia Long is single in her 50s. Think about that, dog. That's crazy, right? You would think a woman like that would have dudes, man, that would have been wifed her up. No, not happening, man. She already destroyed her life, man, when she was younger, her younger years. She messed up her whole life.
I wasn't the girl that ever went to prom. Like, my boyfriend was 30 when I was in high school. I know my mother was crazy, but you know what? I would never ever let I mean that in a good way. Like, she was an artist. She was like, well, if that's who you love, baby. And he was so good to me and kind and like.
He was so good to me. He was so kind, and the mother approved it. Think about how many men her mother got, bro. Think about that. If the mother had no problem with her getting her back blown out at 15 by the 30-year-old guy, then think about what the mother was doing in the crib. Think about what she was doing. Think about the amount of men that the mom had, because we don't hear nothing about the father because he wasn't there.
You're right? And he did it the right way. I wasn't the girl.
See, here's the thing, guys, and I say this all the time. Women that are in their 40s and 50s, you're not supposed to marry them, bro. You're not supposed to. You know what I mean? If she in her 30s, mid-30s, you probably get away with that. But if a woman is in her 40s, bro, she's done. Ain't no marriage after that, fam. You could just kick it with her. You could have companionship, and that's it. At that point, the jig stops here. We cannot tolerate this type of madness. At that point, bro, it's going to be very difficult to coexist with that woman because she's set in her ways, dog. She's 40 plus years old, 50. She's set in her ways. She's dealing with trauma, baggage, hurt, pain, all sorts of drama from the past. God knows how many men she slept with. God knows how much damn men she done consumed. God knows how many men blew out her front door, back door, mouth door, ear door. I mean, ain't no telling what kind of trauma and demons she got on her, bro. So the likelihood of you having success in a relationship with her is very slim to none. And this is why a lot of them are struggling right now, and they get mad at me when I speak this truth. And the thing is, they don't want to be accountable for their actions. I tell women all the time, you lived your best life, remember? Okay, so now it's time to pay the piper. You know, you can't be out in them streets doing all this dirt and then you wondering why you can't settle down. Again, a lot of men grew up watching Nia Long and was like, damn, man, she fine, bro. Sister looking good, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. How she not married yet? How come? I think she had a son out of wedlock messing with some coach or something like that, and dude end up cheating on her with some female assistant or some mess, right? I mean, think about it. Women are still worried about men cheating. This is why I keep telling you ladies, fam. To all you women that are watching the show, that will watch the replay, you got to get all of that stuff about a man cheating out of your mind. A man is going to get with a woman regardless, because that's our nature. You know what I'm saying? You need to get over that. You need to stop trying to control a man and just be happy that you got him. Doesn't matter what woman he talking to. The minute you try to hold a man down, that's when you're going to lose that man. You know what I mean? God did not put you here to try to keep a man hostage. You know what I mean? You best to just be thankful that you got a man in your life and just make that ish work. Because nowadays, most women are going to be single for the rest of their natural life. And I've been preaching this gospel for a long time and nobody wants to listen. A lot of you ladies go to work and you go home. You're not going out to the clubs. You're not going out to the bars. So where are you meeting men? You're not meeting none. You know what I'm saying? So what's happening? You find yourself being single year after year. Year after year, single, single, single. You're like, why no men approach me? Men don't approach women no more. I don't know if you got the memo. We don't approach women no more. You know what I'm saying? You ladies messed that up by calling us thirsty and saying that we're creepy and that we're harassing you when we try to pull up. So most men do not go out there trying to holler at women in the streets. There might be certain circumstances where a brother may try to pull up on a woman, but for the most part, those days are over of us trying to run game, chase you around the streets. We're not doing that garbage no more. You know what I mean? If you feeling a brother, you say something. I got money to make now. And I tell you guys all the time, you know, stop chasing women around and focus on your bag. You know what I mean? Stop chasing them around because I see them all on the gram. All they do is post photos trying to look cute. You know what I mean? And all they're going to do is attract the wrong man. You know? Imagine a woman using her body to get likes and clicks. It's the equivalent of a man buying a fancy, expensive car to drive around to make women look at him. That doesn't mean they looking at you for you. They just looking at you for your car. And so if a man is looking at a woman for her body, then that's all he want. So you can't get mad at a man for wanting your body when that's all you promote. That's all you promote. You got women on the gram that would just post pictures with them posing with their feet, trying to thirst trap men. Women posting their breasts and their cleavage. Or you'll have women doing commentary videos and they got all their breasts in front of the camera. And you're like, why are you using a filter that make your breasts and cleavage pop out? Why are you doing that? For clicks and views. And you wondering why her DMs is filled with a bunch of ninjas that just want to pipe her down. They ain't trying to get to know you. They ain't trying to get to know your name. They ain't trying to meet your father to say, hey, could I have your daughter as a wife and have your blessing? They don't care about that. They just want to pipe you down. And this is why women have so much problems, man. You know? Again, men have always dated younger women. Women have always dated older men. You know what I mean? I'm not here to look at the Nia Long situation to say, oh, how messed up her situation is and X, Y, and Z and all this other junk. What I'm here to show you is biology. And I'm trying to show you human nature. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to show you the double standards on how we crucified R. Kelly, but we ain't crucified Nia Long. We ain't crucified the countless amounts of women that have these very same stories. You go ask all these 40 plus 50-year-old women who was their first so-called man that took their virginity. They'll plead the fifth. They'll plead the fifth on that one. They won't tell you. They'll stay quiet because they know good and well that their first experiences getting piped down was some grown man that bust them wide open. And this is why, as a teenager, when you was messing with them sisters and you went and you smashed Shorty, you wondering why Shorty was all loosed up. Some of you brothers know exactly what I'm talking about. You got with one particular sister and you're like, damn, what the heck is going on? Why this sister all like she done been ran through? Bro, she get piped down by grown ass men. You know what I mean? This is real talk that I'm spitting here. Real talk. And this is why a lot of those women didn't want the younger guys. She wanted that grown man pipe. Real talk. You know, I remember back in the days, you had a sister that was dating this older dude and dude was dating the mom too. That's why I mentioned that earlier in the stream that back in the day, a dude will be dating the mother and the daughter together. No cap. You know what I mean? He messing with the mom by night and the daughter by day. Crazy stuff used to go down, man. You know? So, hey, we're going to get up on out of here, man. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe. It is what it is. I'm going to have more content. Make sure you watch all the uploads I put out there. I posted a lot of YouTube shorts, a lot of content. I'm going to try to saturate the algorithm, do what I got to do, get back into my flow. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm going to do more content like this, talk about more of these stories, and try to keep people posted on what's going on. You know what I mean? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you think it's wrong? Do you think Nia was wrong for dating the 30-year-old? Do you think the 30-year-old's a pedophile? He belong in prison? If that's the case, then we need to put all these women in prison too. We need to put everybody in prison, because all of these women in today's day were dating older men when they were younger. And the reason why they talk ish today is because they ruined their life. So now they're mad at men because they're thinking that it's the man's fault. He took advantage of me. Why do you think in today's day you got all these women wanting to sue everybody, talking about, oh, yeah, when, you know, in 2006, so-and-so and so took advantage of me. Man, stop it. Stop it. You wanted to get piped down. You wanted to get next to that brother. But now all of a sudden you want to talk ish. Come on, man. Come on. You out here perpetrating a fraud. Anyway, y'all, I'm going to get on out of here, man. Leave your comments. Leave your hate mail. Leave your name calling. Say whatever you got to say. I don't care. We're going to keep this content going. Ringo TV reactions. It is what it is. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, man. A lot of these young ladies back in the day, they were fresh, they were hot, and they were the ones that was literally instigating everything. They were the ones that was the aggressor when it came to seducing. They were the ones that would call you over to smash. They were the ones that was enticing you to have sex with them. Most of us brothers wasn't even doing all of that. We was just laying in the cut, chilling, and shorty would call us over the crib, be like, yo, come over, my mom not home, dad not home, you want to come through? And she would set the fire, bro. We ain't even have to do nothing, bro. It's crazy. They were the ones that was doing that. A lot of these young girls is fresh. A lot of these boys are not out here just trying to smash. It be these girls, bro. The girls. They the ones that's hot in their pants, wanting somebody to pipe them down, bro. I'm telling you facts. They get mad at me for speaking this truth. People always get mad at me, but let's look at your file. Let's pull up your report. Let's find out what you were doing back in the day. Let's find out your secrets. Let's talk about you and what you were doing and who you was messing with. You would be shocked to know what people been doing. You would be shocked of all the men the average woman been dating back in the day. You'll be shocked. That's why they stay quiet and they don't say nothing, but they get mad at me for speaking this truth. Anyway, y'all, hope everybody have a blessed day. Rate, comment, and subscribe. Drive safe if you're on the road. Shout out to all my truckers out there, everybody on the road. It is what it is, man. Get up on out of here. We out of here. Ringo TV reactions. Peace and blessings to the mods in the chat. We out. Peace.
If you like our content, consider supporting via Cash App at $Ringo TV Raw. Become a patron on patreon.com for exclusive video content not shown on YouTube. You could also support through PayPal at paypal.me/Ringo TV Raw. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell to be notified of new content. Follow me on Instagram at Ringo TV Raw.
This is Ringo TV Reactions, the only channel on YouTube bringing you the truth, 100% raw and uncut. I'm out. Peace.